J.R.R. Tolkien's Second Age is just as intense and influential as the Lord of the Rings era, constituting many major events and developments. So vast is Tolkien's fictional mythology that the timeline of Ea, the universe in which Middle-earth exists, is split into ages, some of which span several millennia. Following the outset of creation, the exceptionally long years of the Valar and the years of the trees passed. The First Age began after Morgoth cruelly destroyed the two trees of Valinor, followed by the Second, Third, and Fourth Ages, which is where Tolkien's Lord of the Rings timeline ends. For reference, The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings both take place around 3,000 years into the Third Age, and it's Aragorn's coronation in The Return of the King that officially cuts the ribbon on the fourth. Although Tolkien's most famous stories both happen within a single century, the author wrote plenty on what came beforehand, with appendices, the Silmarillion, and other works extensively detailing everything from the moment Eru Ilúvatar and his band sang the world into existence to the day Bilbo Baggins left the Shire with a bunch of dwarfs and a wizard. Despite the Third Age's tales taking pride of place on bookshelves and in movie theaters, the rest of Tolkien's timeline is no less epic or important. Indeed, the Second Age is arguably more seismic than its successor, and this is where Amazon's The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power pulls its inspiration from. The 3,441 years that comprise J.R.R. Tolkien's Second Age can be explained through documentation of all its key moments. The First Age ended with the War of Wrath, where Morgoth tasted defeat courtesy of a mighty host from Valinor, and with darkness finally lifted, the free peoples could make their homes again. The elves anointed Gil-galad as High King of the Noldor, and Lindon became their main province. For around 2,000 years, Númenor was a shining beacon of the greatness mortal civilization could achieve. The island kingdom prospered, grew, and evolved as one king after another continued the lineage of Elros, and in the Second Age's 6th century, the Númenóreans' aptitude for sailing allowed them to rediscover Middle-earth, the home of their ancestors. Strong relations were forged between Númenor and Gil-galad's elves, while the blessed men shared their superior knowledge with lesser kin they encountered. Fleeting visits soon turned into permanent strongholds, giving Númenor a foothold in their motherland. Glad tidings indeed, but Númenor's presence in Middle-earth brought the kingdom one step closer to doom. Another crack emerged in the Númenórean foundations during this period. The first child of Númenor's then ruler was a girl named Silmarion, but deeply sexist kingdom rules forbade female succession, so the scepter passed on to her younger brother. Though the top job eluded her, Silmarion and her husband began a splinter line known as the Lords of Andúni, effectively non-ruling descendants of Elros. Silmarion's lineage would spawn Elendil, Isildur, and eventually, the Lord of the Rings Aragorn. Sauron's Second Age rollercoaster makes his Lord of the Rings journey look relaxing by comparison, embarrassing defeat at the hands of hobbits notwithstanding. When the First Age concluded, a weakened Sauron promptly hid in Middle-earth for the better part of 5 centuries, after which time his presence began to creep forth once more. Nevertheless, the Dark Lord retained a low profile until near year 1000 of the Second Age when he chose Mordor as a permanent home. Yet another 500 years would then pass, while Sauron consolidated his power, transformed Mordor into a wicked wasteland, and formulated a cunning plan. This cunning plan involved transforming into an alter ego called Anatar, who looked considerably less like a mythical tyrant hell-bent on taking over the world since Sauron still possessed the ability to shapeshift during the Second Age. Anatar approached the elves promising knowledge and gifts, and while Gil-galad, Elrond, and Galadriel were all deeply skeptical of this too-good-to-be-true stranger, Celebrimbor the elven smith cautiously took Sauron into Eregion. With the magical knowledge of an evil Mire on their side, the elves of Eregion constructed a series of 19 magic rings, only 3 of which Celebrimbor forged personally, without dark interference.